You want the real story? Here it is, no sugarcoating, no dramatic music in the background, just me. Elijah Brooks sitting on my porch with a cup of coffee and a dog who's smarter than half the people running this county. Funny thing though, folks always think the biggest sound out here is the wind or maybe the coyotes arguing with the moon. But what really catches your ear is when the land goes quiet. Because quiet means something's wrong. Quiet means somebody's up to no good. And this past year, well, it went from peaceful to a damn war zone overnight. My family's held this slice of Texas dirt since before the dust could settle from the Dust Bowl. Granddad's name still carved in a beam in the barn, if you know where to look. I rebuilt his old cabin with my own hands after I retired from law enforcement, figured I'd earned my peace. 70 acres, me, my dog Jasper. Some chickens with more attitude than sense, and a pickup so old I ought to put it out to pasture. Never wanted much more than to be left alone. Which is why when I started hearing the grind and clank of construction way out past my mesquite line, I knew something was wrong. Not the usual deer fence falling down or the neighbor's kid chasing lost cows. This was big. Beeping concrete mixers, the kind of noise you only hear when someone's building something they shouldn't. So I did what any sane man would do. Grabbed my hat, loaded up Jasper in the Polaris, and drove out there. Sure enough, there it was, a whole damn construction site. Trucks with fancy logos, a mobile office trailer, men in hard hats acting like they own the place. One of them, young enough to still think swagger's the same as experience, tried to tell me they had authorization, wave some HOA permit like it was Moses coming down the mountain. Thing is, my land's never been part of any HOA. The permit didn't even have my name or lot number. I told him so right to his face. He just shrugged and said to take it up with the local association. You ever get that feeling where you know you're about to be neck deep in someone else's mess? Yeah, that happened. That sign next to the trailer said Future Home of Delbrook Regional Supply Center, with support from Willow Creek HOA. Now, Willow Creek, that's the beige, soulless development 2 miles south where the grass is always the exact same height, and the neighbors smile like they're auditioning for a toothpaste commercial. Never had reason to bother with them before, figured their rules didn't reach as far as my fence. Guess I was wrong. I spent that afternoon knee-deep in old paperwork deeds, plat maps, titles, everything I had locked away in the safe. All of it said the same thing. I was the only owner, no leases, no easements, nothing. Still, I called up a friend at the county clerk's office, always best to double-check. She called back, sounding nervous. Eli, you might want to sit down. There's a zoning overlay on your land filed last month, marking it for Willow Creek's Development Expansion Zone. I asked her what the hell that meant. She said it's a technical thing. Doesn't usually mean much unless someone pushes it through, but this one, someone pushed hard. Told me I needed to talk to a lawyer. That's when I knew it wasn't just a paperwork mix-up. This was a setup. So I started collecting evidence, drone footage, license plates, delivery times. Put up a new line of no trespassing signs, and every hammer swing from those workers felt like a dare. You want to take my land? You better come prepared. Next day I drove into the heart of Willow Creek, the belly of the beast. HOA admin building looked like a bank lobby pretending to be City Hall. I asked the tight-lipped receptionist Cynthia to see whoever approved construction on my property. She acted like I'd asked her for state secrets until she read my name. That changed her tune. Marched me down a hallway of fake family photos to the office of President Karen Devo. And if you ever met a real-life Karen, let me tell you, she's the prototype. White blazer, not a hair out of place, smile like a bear trap. She tried to talk circles, said my land was part of Phase 2 infrastructure after a community referendum. I told her flat out, I'm not part of your community, never have been. She slid voting results across the desk names. Signatures all fake as a $3 bill. I even recognized a few people who were long dead. She called it processing community sentiment. I called it fraud. She just smirked. And then, Well, then she went full Bond villain, hinting at some old report from my law enforcement days involving my brother, implying she could make trouble if I didn't cooperate. That's when I knew she wasn't just dirty, she was dangerous. I walked out before I did something I'd regret. Sat up all night at my kitchen table with Jasper snoring under my feet, plotting my next move. By morning, I'd made my decision, called Clarissa Bates' property rights attorney, and meaner than a snake in a blender, told her everything. She didn't even blink. You're in a land grab, Elijah. Fraud, conspiracy, blackmail. Let's see how they like a little sunshine. We dug deep. Clarissa cross-checked the signatures. Half were fake. One was a storage unit, another dead 2 years. We filed for an emergency injunction to stop the construction. Judge granted it the same day. The concrete trucks rolled out, the site shut down. You'd think that would be the end, but out here, silence just means the fight's moving to a new battlefield. The next move came quick, a black SUV up my drive, 3 suits, offering hush money for an easement. Generous compensation, they called it. I told them to get off my land before Jasper took a piece out of them. That afternoon, Clarissa got an email leak from inside the HOA. Turns out not everyone on the board was a snake. Karen was giving orders to create additional signatures if needed. We had her dead to rights. Day of the hearing, the courthouse was packed, neighbors, reporters, even folks from the city. Clarissa tore into the HOA's case, lined up the fraud, the threats, the drone footage, the fake votes, even the whistleblower emails. Karen's lawyers tried their best to spin it, but it was like trying to sell rain to a drowning man. Judge Holloway didn't rule right away, but you could see it in her eyes. She wasn't buying the HOA's greater good argument. Of course, retaliation came quick. Someone cut the locks on my eastern gate just to let me know they could. Reporters started sniffing around. I told them everything, no point hiding now. Our story blew up. Landowners from as far as Nevada and Florida reached out with their own HOA horror stories. This wasn't just me, this was a sickness spreading all across the country. Clarissa kept digging and found Delbrook's real boss, Nathan Glay, sitting pretty on the county zoning board, shell companies, funneling money everywhere. It wasn't a land grab, it was a conspiracy, and my ranch was just the start. The next few weeks, things escalated. 3 black trucks idling on my land windows, so dark you'd think they were hiding ghosts. Protests on the road, Brooks is blocking progress. Flyers from the Willow Creek Future Growth Coalition, which was just Karen and Nathan playing dress-up as grassroots activists. They even went on local TV, painted me as some stubborn old man standing in the way of jobs and growth. So yeah, we took the fight public, launched a website, uploaded all the evidence, court documents, videos of Karen and Nathan laughing about burying me in paperwork. It went viral. Suddenly we had lawyers, journalists, even politicians calling, wanting a piece of the story. Then came the break. A whistleblower dropped Zoom recordings of Karen and Nathan planning the whole scam, straight up saying, if we bulldoze it fast enough, nobody will stop us. Now the state rep wanted a criminal investigation. But Karen wasn't done. The county tried to rezone my land as shared use, prepping for an eminent domain move. Clarissa filed federal charges, systemic abuse of zoning authority, constitutional violations. Meanwhile, a young reporter named Malaliri showed up at my door, research in hand. Turns out 7 other ranches were being targeted the same way. I told her, this is theft in a necktie. She put it on the front page. By then, the community was with me. Local farmers, veterans, property rights groups standing at the fence line with homemade signs, land not loot. For every paid shill with a shiny banner, there were 5 regular folks who knew what was at stake. It took a year, 4 seasons of waiting and fighting every dirty trick in the book, but we won. Federal court called it systemic abuse, froze Delbrook's contracts, sentenced Karen to 8 years. Nathan resigned in disgrace. The warehouse got torn down. The land restored, native grasses replanted. I stood there with Jasper watching the last bulldozer roll out, feeling not relief exactly, but maybe something close. We threw a party right there on the field. Neighbors, friends, even Clarissa and Malaliri. Someone brought a cake that said, "Not for sale," in red icing. A little kid tugged my sleeve and asked, "Mr. Elijah, what if they try again?" I looked at him, then out at my land, the grass shining gold in the sunset. "If they do, we'll be ready," I said. But next time they won't be facing just one man, they'll have to face all of us. And for the first time in a long, long while, I smiled. So now I'll ask you, what would you have done if it was your home, your family's name on the deed? Where do you draw the line between progress and theft, between the good of the many and the rights of one? Drop your story or your opinion down below, and let's see who's got the guts to stand up for what's right. If you think this kind of justice matters, like, share, and pass it on. The fight's never really over, not out here.